So a bit of background about Dividend. We are Oracle Gold partners specializing in EPPM. Established in 1999, so we've been going for quite a while now, working in various industries, predominantly though engineering, construction and defence. Complete end-to-end solution provider. So we were initially set up as a training company, but now we also cover implementations as well from end to end. So what I mean by that is not just the sales of the licenses, obviously, but the installation, the training, the working through the business processes, and actually rolling off and actually handing over support if that's what they wish, or providing our own support. We like to see that as a niche provider of the tool, we offer what we call a third line plus support. You can find out more information on our website, just there. Of course, you can ask any questions via email as well. I'll be happy to get back to you. I'll hand over to Bojan now, who will just tell you a little bit about Sivas.
Hello, good day to everyone. My name is Bojan. I'm coming from Sivas, which is the master distributor of the Primavera Reader, the viewer for Oracle Primavera P6 files. I'm going to give you some basic and explanation of an introduction to our company. Sivas is an international software development, outsourcing and consulting company with a proven track record in providing successful enterprise-wide business solutions. The company has over 700 IT experts worldwide and offers a variety of products and service options, successfully covering the European and US market from several offices in the world. The main industries that our company is working on at the moment are the aerospace and defense, the automotive industry, engineering and construction, industrial manufacturing, oil and gas, and public utilities. Basically, it has more than 16 years of experience developing project management, project viewing solutions that so far has been used in more than 350 companies from the Fortune 500 list. Among them are companies that have implemented our project viewing solutions on an enterprise level, like BMW, Volvo, Daimler, then Chevron, Bank of England, and the list goes so forth and so on. It has 94% customer retention, which means that almost every client is successfully continuing the collaboration and the cooperation with our company using our services. The project viewing solutions so far has been installed on more than 6 million computers worldwide, and the portfolio includes over 3,500 individual or companies customers, which is including the leading worldwide handset manufacturers, telecoms organizations from the banking and the finance industry, consumer electronics, technology, education, government institutions, the health industry, and so forth. As I said, I don't want to go deeper. More can be found on the Sivas.com, and also because Sivas is a globally authorized master distributor for the software product family of the Primavera Reader, you can find more on the solution on www.PrimaveraReader.com. David?
Thanks, Brian. So a little bit about Primavera Reader before we jump into the tool itself. It's a very cost-effective viewer for Primavera P6 schedules, and it can be opened as XER or XLS files. Allows us to maintain complete control over large-scale programs and give people access to the data. It comes with a very familiar P6 look and feel, as you'll see when I start walking around the tool, which hopefully eliminates some of the learning curve and training costs that can be associated with these large-scale rolls out of any tool. Some good reasons for implementing the tool. Licensing costs can be quite high for people who are looking to just read schedules. So quite often when we do an implementation, there will be a set number of schedulers, a set number of resource managers, maybe some people using team member just to do either activity updates or timesheet recording. And there'll be a whole host of people that just want to read the schedules themselves. It might be the project manager who's not a day-to-day planner. It might be a project exec, one of your customers, whatever it might be. And what we're finding is that there is a high cost associated with that user base, the read-only people. So this is why we started looking at tools and options that are out there as a company, as Dividend. And we found Primavera Reader to be, one, being very good at what it does, and two, incredibly easy to use. And that was, from a low cost base, it really does make a very good option for large-scale users or smaller users of P6. So the scope of today, we'll have a look at viewing a project. Traditionally, you might think of a P6 schedule as something that's looked at from the scheduler point of view, and that's understandable and obvious. But what I'll also be doing is throwing in some useful tips as well for P6 administrators. So hopefully some of you here will find that interesting as well. Then talk about a little bit about how we can help at the end, and for all the people who have signed up for this webinar today is a 10% discount, which is always nice. So without further ado, I'll jump into the tool and walk you around and show you what it can do. Okay, so very similar style to what you may have seen in other applications. We've got different tabs across the top, and each of the tabs will have a series of associated actions that you can perform. So let's have a look at this. So on the File menu, a couple of things I want to touch on first. Some of the options that you have in here are really quite useful and be very similar to what you'll have seen in user preferences in P6. So the ability to say how you see your units, durations, date formats. Layouts we'll have a look at a little bit later on, some very useful stuff in here, but you can obviously remember how layouts have been amended. And something I know one of our clients will find incredibly useful is the ability to have different languages and different encoding. Certain projects don't handle, or I've seen not handle particularly well, such as Cyrillic-based text, and Primavera Reader does that really nicely. So I'm just going to come out of that screen now and open up an XER file that I've got set up. Like I said, I'll touch on this layout thing in a couple of minutes' time, and baselines I'll touch on a bit later on as well. So I've just opened up my XER file. I'll just take a couple of seconds to load that on up. And instantly we're taken straight into the activities page, and you can see that the style is pretty similar to what you may have seen elsewhere. Got the activities on the left-hand side, got a Gantt chart on the right, and we've got these, what are details tabs, if you like. So similar to the activity details in P6, you've got a representation of them here as well. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. The layouts across the top, there's a series of layouts that come straight out of the box. So I can see activities grouped by a primary resource, for example, and it, again, stretch and shrink columns much in the same way as you can in other tools. But what's really useful, I find, is that you can also import those layouts from P6. If I just click back on this File menu here and go to Layouts, I can select, and I'm going to choose my float path layout. Just take a couple of seconds to load in there. I can bring these in, and instantly I've got a view that I use in P6 quite a lot. Okay, so here we are, activities grouped into their different float paths. Okay. If I want to add in other columns into the view, I can do that as well, and you've got a very similar look and feel as you have in P6, in that you've got the columns grouped by the different categories. So if I wanted to put in the flow path information, I could select the columns and just add them on in. All so far, so simple. Okay. Predecessors and successors, you've got the ability to rolls through all the different chains throughout the project. So that works in a very similar way as well, which is really rather nice. So you can see a lot of the functionality in P6 does come through into Primavera Reader as well. Okay. Ability to collapse and expand as you'd expect. So currently I've got mine set to the float path, but different layouts allow you to group the information in that way as well. Just expand those back up. If I want to jump to an activity, I can do that. And here's one straight off the bat that I find incredibly useful. If I was to import a project XAR file into my enterprise P6 environment, I would import all the global calendars, all the global codes, all the global resources, and everything like that. And here's our first example where Primavera Reader is an exceptional tool for administrators as well. I can see instantly within this XAR file what calendars are associated with it. So if I wanted to import this into our P6 environment, I will get these two calendars coming through as well. Now, that might be what we want. We might want to, these might be calendars we've already got there, and so we don't have any issues with those coming in. But equally, we might want to turn around and say, actually, we need to do something about it. And this gives us the information and enables us to make a decision on what we do with this XAR file. Again, we've got resource calendars, we've got a shared carpenter one here, and if there's any project calendars as well. Okay. Great stuff. Timescale across the top, as you'd expect. A couple of nice little features here, one of which is new to the latest version. Let's say I want to add in a resources column, and I wanted to filter by a particular resource. Very simple in Primavera Reader. I can select any particular resource that's in my plan, so concrete foundation subcontractor, and it will filter it down to just show me those activities. Really simple, really quick. Doesn't require much training to understand how that works. I think that's great. Also, this one here is quite useful as well. It works in a different way to how P6 does. If you remember in P6 Professional, you need to click into the column that you want to search. If I'm searching for an activity name, I've got to go and click into the activity name field, but not the case here. So I can pick a column to search. I find that quite useful. Let's say activity status, I want to jump to the next in progress activity. I can flick through there. Very simple, again, very easy to use and very powerful as well. The codes tab, I'll come back and have a look at that at the project level as well, but you can see here that we can see all the codes that are coming through in this particular XAR file. So it's another one for system implementers or administrators. You can see the kind of information they've got associated with this XAR file. Okay, so let's jump to the WBS view then. Same functionality as before. We've got layouts, so you can import layouts as well. I can decide what columns appear, collapse and expand to different levels. All really straightforward. So there's a really nice consistency around the tool, I find, and again, that's just another great thing when you're rolling it out across a number of people. Projects. Okay, let's have a look at this. If I go into the project table in here, something I found, again, very useful, is I can see what project codes I've got associated to this project. And let's say I've named all these project codes in a specific way in my environment, and I want to see any ones that I don't recognize. Now I can see here, I've got one here for Dividend client code. So that's a project code that comes from another environment, perhaps not this one. So hopefully you can see some use there. So I'm just going to add that in, and it shows me what code values associated. Okay, again, great for checking the data before importing into a production environment. Resources. Another great one for implementers. Here's all my resources that are in the schedule. Shows me the breakdown, the hierarchy of the resources as well. So it might be that I recognize all of them except for these management ones here. I can make a decision on what I do with the information rather than just going ahead and doing something with it. Any codes and notes are assigned to them as well, that comes through. Okay. Again, calendars is on there so we can have a look at any particular resource calendars. Resource table for adding in the columns as well. Consistency throughout the application, it's great stuff. It's nice to see. Assignments. Okay, much the same as before. We've got layouts, so I can group by activities at the click of a button, group by a particular resource, or group by resources. I can collapse it down to different levels, drill my way through exactly as you'd expect. Okay, you can import layouts again at this level. You can jump to the different assignments. So if I need to jump across to information about the third floor masonry structure, I can click on Go to Assignment and it tracks me across to there. Now, this works in the same way as the assignments page in P6 as well. So we've got budgeted units, actual units, and in the spreadsheet field button at the top there, we can pick our cumulative cost units and time intervals as well. Not sure what information is in this particular XCR. Might want to have a look at the remaining units as well. That information can be dragged on in. Great stuff. Roles is pretty much the same as resources. You can see the structure for the roles, any resources that are assigned to the roles, prices, any limits as well. The OBS, when you import an XCR file into P6, it drags through all the access rights to the project as well. So this will be added into our enterprise global environment, into our OBS in P6. We probably don't want that, or it might be that we can see here that it is okay to bring it in. So again, it gives you the information. Just have a look if there's anything else I can say at this stage. I think that's about it really in terms of what the tool does. Is there anybody that has any questions at this stage that they'd like to raise? You can type your questions into the questions pane. Baselines, yes. I will have a look at the baselines. Thank you, Maria. So we showed you how we could import layouts. Very simple to be able to do. You can just pick the layout. Similar thing that you can do with baselines. Really useful. So I can assign different XCR files as baselines within a project. So it doesn't work in the same way that P6 does, in that when you have a baseline assigned to a project and you export it as an XCR, you can import it in that way. You import it as separate XCR files. And that's something I've got set up here. I'll just drag that in. Just take a couple of seconds to load it up. And I can go back, if I go into layout and bring in my baseline view I've got set up. I'll just take a couple of seconds to load in. And I can go back in here and I can see that baseline information has come through from my project files against my activities. There's my baseline versus current. So very simply, you can get that information in and view it just like you could in P6. Okay. Is there any other questions from the room? No? Okay. Great stuff. Hopefully that's given you a flavour of what the tool is all about. It's a very simple way of looking at the data. What I propose to people who are on the demonstration is that copies are available. We can certainly sort out a demonstration copy for you, and obviously also we can offer a 10% discount on the prices. The pricing lists are available in the handouts that you should have received in the invitations. If not, if you can't find them, do just get in contact with me and I can certainly provide some more info. Alexis, you have a question, I believe. Please do type it in. We've got a question from Matthew. How many users can you have to one license? It is one user per license. Individual licenses start at £160 without maintenance, £200 with. Obviously we're offering a discount today, so that's useful as well. Is there a way to print out the schedule? Yes, apologies, that's a very good question. If I just go into the file menu in here and print, just close that off for a second. File and print, and we've got all our options for printing the data out. So if I want to change the page setup, let's look what we've got here. Set the margins, show what to have in the header and footer, and I'll be able to change it to landscape, which is the one I was just looking for then. Okay, so obviously from there I can print it to, if I have a PDF drive, I could print it to a PDF as well. Really useful. Looks like we have another question. No? Okay. That's great. So if you wanted to schedule a further call with us at any stage to talk through the options on this, more than happy to do it, obviously. We will be running another webinar in the not too distant future. So if you do want to get a demonstration copy of the software, you can have a play around with it. You can come back directly and ask us questions, or you can drop onto another webinar and we can make sure we incorporate your questions that you have as well. It's the first of these webinars that we've been running, so not had too many questions coming through as yet. So that's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much all for attending. There will be a recording of this placed onto numerous places, but we'll also send round the information about that. Bojan, is there anything you'd like to say at this point?
No, I would like just to thank everyone that was participating to this webinar. Also, I would like to add that if any one of the participants or a colleague of theirs are interested in a demonstration, a presentation of the solution, they can always come to us and we'll do a 30 minutes demo presentation and walk through to all key features and functionalities of the product, and also discuss about the possibilities that the Primavera Reader can and the different licensing models, since we have different types of licensing options that are best suitable for the companies. That would be it. Thanks a lot.
That's great. Thanks, Bojan. Thanks for coming along. So just leaves me to say thank you very much for attending today, and hopefully we'll hear from you again in the not too distant future. We'll be doing a few more of these over the coming months, but do get in contact and we'll sort out some demonstration licenses for you. So thanks very much. It's 2:30 over in the UK, and for all those joining around from various parts of Europe and beyond. Have a great weekend and speak to you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.